Hey, what's up, fellas? Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're going to be diving in deep onto the secrets of actually reaching your goals, and that is just taking one step at a time. And for those of you who don't know, I run Fox Fit Nation. It's my online platform and my self-development program where I help young men reach their highest possible versions of themselves. And over the last 7 years, I have been working on this program to help men develop themselves into being the best dads they can be, cutting out their vices and keeping themselves in tip-top shape. So without further ado, I think you guys are gonna like this video. Let's get into it. Most of you guys watching right now have massive goals. Some of you want to lose 30 pounds. Some of you are saying you want to get shredded this year. You know, other people just say, I want to just change my life altogether. And the issue is you all start getting stuck looking at this mountain ahead of you and you wonder, how am I going to climb that? And you freeze. And that's normal because you don't know how you're going to get to the top. But that's the issue. You start to overthink. You start to scroll on Instagram. You start to compare. And slowly that dream will start to fade because you're just too focused on the end goal. You're not just focused on the very next step. And times are getting harder because we live in a world that rewards distraction. You know what I mean? Like every time you're starting to scroll through, Instagram or social media or anything on the phone, you're getting hits of dopamine. But it's stealing your focus away from the actual things that are in front of you that you need to handle and take care of. You see so many people that are already at the top of that mountain. They got the body you want, they got the money you want, the success that you want, and you start thinking to yourself, like, how am I ever going to get there? But for most of you watching right now, you don't need to know the whole plan. You just simply need to know what your next move is. And then you need to stop overthinking because that's your brain's way of avoiding discomfort. And really, discomfort's where you're going to grow. So instead of focusing on that end goal, just figure out, hey, what do I got to do today and what do I got to do tomorrow? And you just slowly take each step towards that end goal. So your daily goal should just be, what do I got to do today to move that needle forward? If you focus on today's step and I'm not talking about next month, I'm not talking about next year, but I'm talking about the very next step each and every single day, then yeah, things will start to click. Little things like, did you go to the gym today? Did you drink enough water today? Did you track your food today? Have you kept all your promises to yourself today? Because that's how you're going to win. By stacking those small daily wins, building that momentum, that's what's really going to start to carry you. When you can check off those small daily steps, all that progress, that's what feels good every single day. It literally is going to rewire your brain to crave progress instead of comfort. Like it's an actual, there's science behind it on how you can rewire your brain. It literally it makes that process addictive because you're going to get dopamine releases from the progress that you're getting instead of through scrolling through Instagram or whatever it is that you distract yourself with, which is a way better thing to be getting dopamine from than whatever else it is that you've been doing. And this is something that I tell all my clients. The pain of doing nothing will always be more painful than the pain of doing something. And that's just how life is. Like the pain of doing nothing is quiet, right? But it starts to grow. You're going to start feeling regret. You're going to start feeling guilt. It's like waking up every day knowing that you're capable of doing more. Waking up every single day knowing that you could be working on your body, going to the gym, working on your mindset, working harder at your job or whatever business that you're building. Like there's all these little issues that will continue to mount up in the back of your mind if you don't take action. You guys can think of it this way. The pain of doing something, that's just like what, soreness? That's you getting sweaty because you're putting in effort. Like the way that when you go to the gym, that's what the pain you're going to feel is from actually putting in effort. What ends up happening is that pain leads to growth. And that goes not just in the gym, not just for your mindset, but that goes for anywhere in your life. And you can't really avoid pain in life, right? But you can choose which kind of pain you're going to have. One's going to break you down and one's going to build you up. But you have that choice every single day. What kind of pain do you want in your life? And some days you're going to feel all that motivation. You're going to take 5 steps forward. You're going to crush your workout, hit your macros. You're going to feel unstoppable. But then there's going to be days where you feel like you're dragging your feet and you have no motivation. But in the back of your head, you got to say, hey, if I just take one step, it's going to keep that needle moving, right? Because here's the deal. As long as you're moving, you're winning. When you start staying stagnant, you will start to fail. And that's even when it's hard, even when it's slow, even when you don't see any results. You're building momentum because you're not always going to see the results right away. All those small steps, they're going to start to compound, right? They're going to start to stack up like bricks on a house when you're building a house. One brick doesn't look like much, but once you keep going, you see how it develops. And one day you get to look back and realize, hey, you're halfway up that mountain now. And the stronger you get, the more disciplined you get, you're not going to be the same person you were because you were growing out of your old self. You were letting that old person die off. So just remember this. Tell yourself this. You don't have to climb that whole mountain in one day or today. You just have to take the next step, lay the next brick, Stop waiting for the motivation. Stop scrolling for inspiration, right? The path becomes clearer once you start to walk it. And then eventually, one day, you're going to reach the top of that mountain that you've been looking at for so long. And you're going to look back, and you're going to realize it was never about the mountain in the first place. It was just about the person you became on the way up. It's all about the journey. It's all about what you learn on the way. So while you're sitting there right now, ask yourself, what is my next step, guys? Because that is all that matters. What's your step today? And then tomorrow, what is your step tomorrow? And then day by day. And if this message hits home, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment for your next step, and share this with a friend who needs to take the next step in whatever goal they're trying to achieve. You can follow me on Instagram, you can follow me on TikTok and send me a direct message, or you can book that calendar link for a one-on-one call for my coaching.